Okay, everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Chantel Wilkins. I'm one of the project managers here on the implementation team for Avidian Profit. Today is Start Right training, is the first Start Right training to go over the administrative features of Profit. So what I'll be covering today is the differences between records. Okay, so the difference between a contact, a company, and an opportunity. And then I'm going to show you in the user interface first where Profit is customizable, because it's going to look a little bit different once we log on to your Profit administrative page. And then what we'll do is I'll be able to show you how to customize your Profit template on that Profit administrative page, and what changes you can make, what data fields are customizable and what ones aren't. And then also we'll go over setting up user permissions and setting up your permission and your hierarchy, okay, for all of your users. All right. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with the user permissions and hierarchy first, since that, of course, you guys need to get Profit installed in order for you guys to, customize this template and see those changes and start utilizing the system. Okay, so to set up your user profile, what will happen is if you as a Profit administrator will be granted access to this Profit admin portal. So if I open up just a web browser here, and I'm just going to go to profitondemand.com. Okay. This is the Profit administrative page here, the login screen. Now, the username that you're going to be using here is your email address for your business. So in this case, it would be profitt@avidian.com. Okay. Now, if you have forgotten your Profit password, then you can type in your email address right here and then click on Forgot Password, and then Profit will automatically send you a link to recreate your password to access this administrative page and your Profit account. Okay, so all right, here on the this is your Profit admin page here. On the left-hand side, you're going to see all these different options. Okay, where we're going to go to configure a new user is if I click under Manage Users, go to User Management. Okay. Now, all of these instructions, what I'm going over here is covered in our Start Right training sessions, in the admin Start Right training session. There are training documents on our webpage, and then also you can contact your client success manager as well if you need assistance. If you are currently in implementation, then you can contact your implementation project manager to assist you with this. Okay. So under Manage Users here, you're going to see right up here that this is the total number of licenses that you've purchased. This is how many are currently assigned to a user or to a person, and then these are the licenses left available. Okay. Now, if I click over here to configure a new user, I'm just going to click Configure New User. Okay, and then I'm just going to add in here. Okay, so the first and last name, the user role, either Profit administrator or user. Okay, the Profit administrator, the difference between the two is the Profit administrator has access to this web page. Okay, and has the ability to change user permissions and also make template customizations. All right. A Profit admin has the ability inside of when you guys are in Profit, has the ability to see unassigned records within the system. Okay. A user, all right, does not have access to this web page here. All right. And depending on the permissions that we grant them here will be dependent on what they can edit and delete. All right. So I'm going to set Bob up here to just a user. Okay. And we're going to type in his email address. Okay. The job title and the phone number are optional. Okay. And then we're going to go here to status. All right. Now, if you select active, okay, right out of the gate, Profit is going to automatically send that user an email with a link to create their password for Profit and also go through the download and to also install it. Okay, so you should already know before even, you should have already informed your team in regards to which Outlook contact folder you should be syncing with Profit, whether that be your local default contact folder or a brand new local folder that's empty. Okay, so that should already be decided. Your Profit administrator or your PM, if you're in implementation, will advise you of which path is the best practice for that. Okay. So I'm going to just set this person to inactive for right now because I just want to set up my user. I don't want an email to go out to them yet. I'm going to select my department. Okay, so I'm just going to assign them to sales. Okay, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to select the manager. So this is where you're setting up your user hierarchy. Okay, so the user manager or the select a manager here, this does not necessarily have to be your internal, your internal hierarchy that you use at your company. This could just be, it could be, it could be Chantel or it could be Sue because they're the ones that are administering Profit. Okay. So I'm going to say, okay, Chantel here is the Profit manager. Now I'm going to go over here to hierarchy view access. Okay. The hierarchy view access here is what you're allowing your users to see. Okay, we're not getting to editing and deleting records just yet, but this is what the visibility that you're allowing your user to have. Okay, these are the three options: own and reports, peers, and peers and manager. Okay, these hierarchy view settings are applicable to all of the records within Profit. So what I mean by that is a contact, a company, and an opportunity. Okay. Own and reports is meaning that they can see only their own records, so only the contacts, companies, and opportunities that they have created or that have been assigned by their Profit manager, their assigned Profit manager that you selected here. Okay. Peers is meaning that they can see each other's data, they can see their own data along with the data of other users if they have the same assigned Profit manager. All right, but they cannot see their manager's data. Okay, peers and manager is meaning that they can see each other's data along with their manager's data, their assigned manager's data. All right. Okay. And also, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you guys, if there are any questions that you have, there is a chat box at the bottom of your the go-to training that you can type in there, and then we'll address those questions at the end of today's call. Okay. Cross-department access here is, again, your Profit administrator should already know this. If you guys have purchased the enterprise version of Profit, you guys have the ability to have multiple departments. Okay, so if you do have multiple departments, then this is where you can give your user no access to that department, read-only access, or read-write access. Okay. Under company settings here, this is what you're allowing your user to be able to edit and delete from the company notes section. Okay, this is only applicable to the notes section and the files that you attach to a company record. Okay, so editing and deleting notes. This allows the administrator, so you as a Profit admin, okay, to control the user, so Bob's ability to edit and delete company notes. Okay, so here, if I go, the three options that I have are all notes, only user's notes, or none at all. Okay. So I'm going to say, he can edit and delete his own notes that he inputs into the note section of the company record, but he couldn't delete someone else's. Okay. So that we're giving him a little bit of flexibility. And removing attachments, I'm going to set this to only user's attachments. So any of the files that he attached to a company record, he can remove but he couldn't remove someone else's. Another users. Okay. Contact settings. All right. This register contact folder, we're going to leave this alone for the time being because during the client installation, Profit is going to ask us which Outlook contact folder you guys the user wants to synchronize with Profit. Okay, so they do need to have the ability to register this folder. during the installation. Okay. After the installation is completed, then I'm going to go here and I'm going to log back onto this administrative page, and I'm going to set this setting to disallow. Okay. What this is doing is that once it's set to disallow, this is more of a precautionary setting, but this is so that another that user doesn't accidentally sync up another Outlook contact folder into Profit that they shouldn't. Okay. So we're going to leave it to allow it for right now. Under general settings, this is what you're allowing this user, so Bob, to be able to delete, if he's allowed to delete records from the Profit server. So whether you are hosting your own Profit data on your own internal servers, or if Avidian is hosting your guys' Profit data, your team's data. Okay. So this is applicable to all three records. Can Bob delete contacts, companies, or opportunities from the server? Okay. Now remember, we have set this user to be able to see everything, but we don't want that user to be able to delete other records, other people's records, accidentally. Okay, so the best practice here is to set them to none. Okay, so what this means is that if they can still update records, so if they need to update a contact or a company or an opportunity, they can still do that. Okay, even if that record isn't assigned to them, right? Because they were set to peers and manager, but they could not delete any records from the Profit server. Okay, so if they accidentally create a new opportunity, then they would need to contact the Profit administrator to do so. Okay. Opportunity settings here, this is the same thing as company settings. If I click here on edit and delete notes, the opportunity notes in the opportunity record, okay, the options are the same. I can do all notes, only users notes, or none at all. So we're going to give the same settings, only users notes and only users attachments. Okay. All right. Now, again, all these settings here, you got, this isn't have to be permanent. Okay. You guys can, the Profit administrator, you can have multiple Profit administrators, and you guys can always go in here and change those user permissions as needed. Okay. So once I hit save here, okay, so let me change this to Profit Trainer, the manager. Okay, so you'll notice here that all of these people here, okay, all of these users, they all have the same assigned manager. So what this is meaning is that this means that we've set up a flat hierarchy. Okay, so you can see your hierarchy structure if you click over here to user hierarchy on the left. Okay, so you can see here that the Profit Trainer account, that Profit user account, is managing all of the users underneath that manager. Okay. All right. Under the analytics licenses here, okay, you have the ability to give access. This is a reporting module within Profit. And there's, going to be additional training on this, and there's user training documents, etc. But if I wanted to, this is where I could grant users access to the Analytics Manager, which is a reporting module. All right. Okay. All right, so that's setting up a new user and managing your user permissions and making sure that those are all set up appropriately. Okay. Another thing to mention is that if I were to delete, let's say that a user leaves your company. Okay. If a user left your company, they're no longer a Profit user. You can set this user to inactive. Okay. So you can set a user to inactive. So if I just click edit here and I set Chad to inactive. Okay, what this means is that all the records in Profit will still be assigned to him, right? But he will no longer have access to his Profit database, to the Profit database. Okay, then what you can do is once you get your new hire, okay, or someone to reassign that license to, you can click edit here and you can just change Chad the old credentials for that ex-employee to the new credentials. Then all the records that were assigned to that ex-employee will automatically get those records will then automatically get assigned to the new one, to the new user. Okay. The second option is that if someone leaves your company or they're no longer need to be a profit user, if you click delete here, okay, that'll delete the profile and that'll open up another license for you. Okay, but if you delete that if you delete that user from your administrative page, all the records that Chad was assigned to, so all the contacts, companies, and opportunities, will become unassigned within the profit database. Okay, and unassigned records are only visible to profit administrators. Okay, so it's really your preference. Typically, the best practice is that you set the user to inactive, just so that you can have that that you can know who those records were previously assigned to until you get your new user. Okay. All right. Okay. Switching gears to how to customize your profit template. So I'm going to show you where profit is customizable within the database, within the user interface first, and then we'll jump back onto that administrative page and I'll walk you through how to make the customizations. Okay. So in Contact Manager, all right, each line item here is managing your own an individual person. Okay, so everything that is associated to Robert, okay, is linked here. Okay, so this is his first and last name, his company, his email address, his business phone, etc. Okay, so this is all data that's applicable to an individual person. Okay. Now down below here where you see Contact User tab 1, right? There are 20 data fields here that you can customize, and you can change these to a drop-down, a text box, or a date field. Okay, so these are pieces of information that you guys can start tracking, okay, and the ability to categorize. You can also run custom reports on all of these customized data fields as well. So think of this information used for marketing purposes, for example. Okay, so you can see here that you can track, is Robert married? Yes or yes. Spouse, partner's name. How many children does he have? Children? What hobbies is he interested in? So on and so forth. Okay, right. Holiday cards, if you want to send that out. If he's allowing, if he likes, if he's okay with getting, email blasts from your marketing department, etc. Okay, we can also change the name of this tab. All right. Now, where you would make these customizations is if I go back onto my Profit Administrative page, under Profit Administrator here, you'll see here Contacts. Okay, and you'll notice here that it says Contact Fields. So if I click on this drop down here, okay, this Contact User tab 1, all right, you'll see here that this label, yes, it is visible, and this is the field type. Okay, so what this means is that this tab, the tab page, is meaning the name of the actual tab. So it's this Contact User tab 1. So let's say that you wanted to, change the name of that tab to, additional contact information or contact marketing info, whatever you'd like. And then these are the 20 data fields here that you can customize. Okay, so if I click here on type of contact, I can put in all of the different types of contacts that I want to start tracking. Okay, if I click edit right here, okay, this is where I can change the name of the field itself, and then I can change the field type to a date field, a drop down, or a text box. Okay, right. I can also hide fields. So let's say that I'm not using, I'm not using some data field. Maybe I'm only using 5 of the 20 data fields in Contact Manager that I can hide. I can uncheck mark, make this field visible if I want to make it, if I don't want it to show up in the user interface. Okay. Right. Okay. Once you make any template customizations on this administrative page, you need to have you and your users will need to close and reopen Outlook to see the changes reflected inside of Outlook. Okay. All right. So your contact manager is managing individual pieces of information. Okay. In tomorrow's session, there is a Start Rate Training 2. That's where I'm going to be going over all the basic features of Profit and how you guys can sort and filter by all of these customized data fields. Okay. The next place that you can customize Profit is in Company Manager. Okay, so in Contact Manager, anytime a contact has a company name associated to it, okay, what Profit is going to do is going to automatically create a company manager, or excuse me, a company record in Company Manager. Okay, so you'll notice each line item here is a business. Okay, and it is linking all of the contacts to that business. Right. So if I open up Avidian, okay, this is all of the info pertaining to the business, the company as a whole. So this is the corporate address, the main phone number, website, their main email address to contact them, so on and so forth. Okay. Under this contacts tab, it is pulling in all 4 of these contacts, okay, from your contact manager and your Outlook. Okay. Right. What is linking the company and contact together is the company name. Right. Okay, so if someone types in Avidian and then another user types in Avidian Technologies, Profit is going to recognize that as a duplicate company. Okay, so it's important to keep those company names consistent. All right. Now in Company Manager, in the company record, there are 3 data tabs that you can customize. You'll see here that it says Company User Tab 1, Company User Tab 2, and 3. Okay. There are 24 labels on each of these tabs. Okay. And you can make them, again, from a drop down, a text box, or a date field. Right. Okay. So clearly there, obviously there's some fields that are hidden here, but these are pieces of information that you would be tracking for the business as a whole. Okay. So account rating. Okay. What their payment terms are, net 30, net 60. Is there a credit hold? What's their year-to-date revenue? Last year-to-date revenue. Okay. Some examples is I've seen, and the data fields that you would be customizing here in the company record would be data fields pertaining to the business that aren't changing too often. Right. So if you want to track, how they pay, what their payment type is. So whether that's credit card or a wire transfer, etc. Okay, you could also track what, company that industry's in, how many employees they have. All right. Okay. Now, where to customize these user tabs here is if I go back to the administrative page, okay, right below companies, there's this plus sign right below contacts, there's this plus sign here. And you can see here that this is where I would go to customize Company User Tab 1. Okay, so the same rules apply. That yes, this is visible, and you can change the name of the tab. That's what tab page means. Okay. If I click on this drop down here, this is where all 24 labels you can see here. Okay. So let's say that I wanted to change account rating, okay, to company industry. Industry type. Okay. This is where you can select the field type, so I can make this a drop down, a text box, or a date field. Okay, I want this to be a drop down, so if I select hit save, then I can add in my drop down values. So I can click add here, and I'm going to say apparel, construction, accounting, marketing, okay, so on and so forth. Again, you can have as many drop-down values as you'd like. Okay, right. All right. So think of your company manager and your contact manager as one centralized database that you're using for your business, or as a Rolodex and a phone book for your business and for your users. Okay, so you'll notice here that we're not tracking any statuses of or quote numbers, follow up, anything like that. All we're tracking here is what's the name of the business, what's their contact information, and how do we contact the individuals at that business. Okay. All right. Now transitioning to the opportunity manager. Okay. The opportunity manager, this is where your team should be spending about 95% of their time. This is where you guys are going to be tracking and customizing all your different sales statuses, sales stages, next steps, follow-ups, notes, etc. Okay. This is also where once we get to the analytics manager in Friday's user training 3, when we go over reports, the opportunity manager is pulling, or the analytics manager is pulling from the opportunity manager on specific data fields. Okay. So if I go here to my drop down arrow next to new and go to new opportunity, well, okay, this is my opportunity record. I'm going to link a company and a contact here. So if I click on contacts, and I'm just going to do Avidian again. Okay, and I'm going to say, okay, Jeff, and I'm going to add selected contact. So this is my company and the customer that I'm working with, my main point of contact. My opportunity description, this is where I would be putting what is the purpose of your opportunity, what is the purpose of this opportunity. Okay, so, right. Under the general tab, this general tab, this is what is being, this is what the analytics manager and reporting module, the sales dashboard also is pulling from. Okay. So this general tab is the least customizable within Profit. All right. And what I mean by that is that we cannot change the field types. Okay. So these drop downs are going to will state drop downs. Okay, now we can change the field name and the values within the drop downs, okay, to be more applicable to your business, but we can't change the type of field that it is. Okay, now there are 7 data fields, okay, that for you as a profit administrator should know that are being pulled, in regard, so that you know this up front in regards to reporting. Okay, once you get to that phase in your implementation or your training. All right, those data fields, these 7 data fields that I'm about to list off are user inputted. So this is what your team is going to be inputting into the system and should be updating on a regular basis. Okay, those 7 data fields that the analytics manager and dashboard are looking at over here, these 2 folders, if you will, is the opportunity description, the status and stage, the probability, the estimated close date. Okay, this is actually revenue. Okay, so this is an estimated maybe potential revenue, if you will. Okay, and then next step action and next step date. Oh, no, excuse me, activity type. Excuse me, activity type. Okay, all right. Those are the 7 data fields. Okay, now you can report on all of this. This is, again, those 7 data fields are just, what the analytics manager and sales dashboard is reading into. That's all. Okay. So under the sales status, okay, there are 3 statuses that you do not want to edit and delete. Okay, the 3 statuses are active, lost, and won. Okay, the reason being is because it goes back to reporting. All right. Now over here under sales details, user tab 2 and user tab 3, these are where there are, again, 24 data fields that you can customize, and you can make these a drop down, a text box, or a date field. Okay, so similar to the company, the same amount of data fields like in the company manager, right? This is where you guys, again, we're in the opportunity record, the company and contact already linked, okay? So this is where I've seen clients, put in change sales details to quote info. and they'll change this to, quote number, quote expiration date, renewal dates, okay? Because you guys can run reports and metrics on all of this information and export that out of Profit. The next tab over, I've seen this used for marketing or customer service. Okay, so Profit is giving you guys the ability to track data fields and bucket them out in different sections. So there's one dedicated to each division of your business. But again, all within one record. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, so the status, all the 4 data fields that you can change, essentially, the field name and the drop-down values within them is customer type, priority, lead source, and product service category. Okay, all of these other data fields need to stay where they're at. Okay, you can change, maybe you want to change this to just say, you want to change this to project stage or marketing stage. You can change the name of it, and then we can, of course, customize all the different sales stages here. Okay. Right. But the purpose of this general tab is to give you guys, is to give your user, be able to document the information to identify what is the scope of this opportunity. So it's general information, but it's also, important information that should be known up front. Okay. Now, what this next step action, next step date does is if I were to say need to call and schedule next meeting, if I go over here to next step date and I say I want to be reminded to call Jeff on the 19th, Profit's going to automatically prompt me, do you want to create an Outlook task for this date? And if I hit yes, okay, this Outlook feature, Profit will automatically create an Outlook task for you. Okay, so really the ones that are customizable on this general tab are really the ones over here on the left. Okay, but these data fields over here should stay the same. Okay, because there are functionalities, associated to them. Okay. To make customizations to your opportunity record, I'm going to go over here, back onto the administrative page. Now, where you see here templates, okay, this is where you're going to customize your template. Okay, so if I go to my sales template, okay, and the only reason why you would have multiple templates here is if you have the enterprise version of Profit. Okay, the majority, some of you just might have one template here to customize, right? So under the general tab, okay, these tabs up here, on the administrative page, it's just showing you the tabs that you can customize. So it's going to look a little bit different than from what you're seeing here in the actual opportunity record. Okay. All right. So under the general tab, here's the description. Okay, so maybe I want to change this and edit this to say opportunity description. Okay, I want to make this mandatory, so I can hit save. Okay, the sales status. Okay, so here are those drop downs. All I need to do here is click edit. Okay, and remember not to edit or delete active, lost, or won. Okay, the purpose of the status is to really tell us, is this opportunity open or closed? Okay, so if it's open, that's meaning that the opportunity is active. And then if it's closed, it's going to be one of these other options. Okay, now if you click edit over here, right, this is going to say this link is, this field is linked to functionality in the Profit dashboards and Profit report. So it's going to give you, a warning before you edit or delete it. Okay. But you can change all the other data sets there, values that you want. Okay, again, this is just specifically for open or closed. So I'm just going to want this to say status, and then I'm going to make this field mandatory as well, because I want my users to fill that out. So if I hit save, okay, your sales stages. Okay, this is where we've identified that your user has now, will be identifying, okay, this opportunity is active. Now, what stage are they at within the opportunity? So within your sales process. So if I click edit here, okay, This is just a canned, default template. Okay, so you can change, all the values here. And again, you can have as many drop-down values as you want. Now, because this is your sales stages, we want these in a specific order so that they follow your process. What you'll need to do is you'll need to number them. Okay. Now, the reason why you want to number them is because Profit will put them in that order. If they're not numbered, then Profit's just going to put them in alphabetical order. Okay. Also, what I would recommend is putting a 0 in front of your single digits. Okay, because if you go to stage 10, 10 is going to pop up in between 1 and 2. Okay, so this is where you and your team can discuss internally or with your project manager, your CSM, as to what your sales process is that's applicable to your business. Okay, so identification, let's say I want to change this to lead identified. Okay, and I'm going to click edit again, and then stage 2, let's say that I want to call this lead follow-up. I want to follow up on that lead. Okay. Stage 3 is, I'm assessing their needs. Okay, now this does not mean that each user needs to hit every single stage, right? But this is allowing you guys, they can move forward and backwards on their within this process. Excuse me. Okay, so needs assessment, and then maybe this is on-site visit. Okay, maybe, and then 05 is I'm generating a proposal or a quote. So I'm in the process of doing that. And then maybe this is quote sent. Okay. And you could get as detailed or as basic as you want. It's really up to you guys. Whatever is most, whatever applies to your guys' business. The quote has been sent. Maybe there is, further negotiation on that quote. Okay. And then here, so there's negotiation. Maybe I want to say, negotiations, quote revisions. Okay. And then 08 here, I can say 08 PO received, or contract signed, quote approved. Okay. Okay. Now, if I wanted to add another item here, maybe I want to do the quote has been signed. So once that quote has been signed, then you would change the status of that opportunity to 1. Okay. Now, if I wanted to add another item, so I could click add item here, and maybe I want to add in another stage and do a 90-day follow-up, post-sales follow-up. Okay. All right. And then I'll just change this to stage and make this mandatory. Okay. Then I can go through here and I can say, what are my customer types? Is, existing client or customer, what have you. If you want to start prioritizing your opportunities, you can put in here the name of where you generated this lead from. Okay, so if you go to different conferences or trade shows, okay, I would list out all the different trade shows or advertisements that you guys purchase or that you advertise in. So then that way, on a quarterly or annual basis, you guys can run a report against all of these data fields again as to, how many leads did you generate from a particular trade show in 2017. Okay. Products and services category. So I've seen this change to territory. Okay, so then I can put in here territory. I can put in here, downtown Seattle, Bellevue. So what region is this opportunity in? Okay, Linwood, etc. Okay. We have the probability to close. This does need to stay a numeric dropdown here. Okay. We have the estimated close date. I'm going to make probability mandatory. Estimated close date, I'm going to make this mandatory as well. This is really revenue. I'll make this mandatory. Okay. And then we have next step action, next step date. Okay. Right. Now under activity type, if I go over back to the opportunity, when you're documenting you and your users are documenting their notes here, I can go to my activity type, and this is giving me the ability to organize my data as or categorize my notes. Okay, so if you want to see how many on-site visits a user made or how many cold calls they completed, okay, you can add those values here to the drop-down. Okay, so then if so to edit that, I'm just, again, going to go to edit here, and I'm going to add item and say cold call, because you can report on all this. Okay. All right. And I'm going to make this field mandatory as well. Right. So these are the 7 data fields with the red asterisks that are custom or that are being pulled into the Analytics Manager and Sales dashboard. Okay. Right. Now over here under the Sales Details tab, okay, this is where you can see there are some data fields that are hidden, not hidden. You can, you can track if an opportunity has been lost. You can put in here the reasons why they were lost, so you can start tracking that metrics. And then we also have user tab 2 and 3. Okay. Right. Now you and your team, you as a profit administrator has full access to make changes as you guys see fit. So as your business processes or your business evolves, same with your template, your profit template. Right. Okay. So I'm going to now close and reopen Outlook so that we can see those changes. Okay, so I'm in my Opportunity Manager. Okay, and if I double click here, oh, actually, if I go up here to New and go to New Opportunity, okay, then you'll see here I put an opportunity description, there's my status, and here are my stages. Okay, I believe I updated the territories. Okay, now also if I were to hit save and close here, okay, it's going to tell me that these data fields are not populated. Okay, so before I can save, and because I made those data fields mandatory, before I can save and close it, I have to input those specific data fields. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? In the chat, I don't see anything. But if you do have any questions, even after today's Start Right training, if you're in implementation, please contact your assigned project manager for your implementation, and then or you can contact our support department or your assigned customer success manager. Okay, and if you don't have that information, I would contact your profit administrator to get that info. All right. All right, thanks everyone. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.